Hi, I'm Chef Marco Barbaro from Gino's Trattoria, and today I'm excited to bring you one of my great appetizers. It's prosciutto wrapped shrimp in a Marsala glaze. There's a lot of sauces that could go along with this dish, but I chose this Marsala glaze because it's very simple, and you don't need a lot of sauce because the shrimp are going to have a lot of flavor. So over here is basically our ingredients for the dish, and what we're starting out with is U15 shrimp, jumbo shrimp. You can use any size, but the bigger ones are the better ones. I have them cleaned already. And what I did was I took the shell off, I left the tail on, cut the back almost all the way till the end, and I cleaned it out, and I left a little bit so when they're going to cook they're going to sit up like this. They're butterflied. Alright, and now all I did was I added a touch of garlic and olive oil, and I'm going to wrap the shrimp with prosciutto, and then we're going to grill them. This is a great dish for the summertime. You want to do it on your barbecue. And this prosciutto is prosciutto di Parma. There's all different types of prosciutto. There's San Daniele. Prosciutto di Parma is the best because when prosciutto grills, it's going to become a little salty on you. The prosciutto di Parma is a more expensive one, and it's sweeter. It's a better prosciutto, so you definitely want to use that. The less expensive one is still good, but it's saltier on you. So there you go. Your shrimp are ready. There's nothing to that basically. So now all you're going to do is take them, throw them on the grill. You don't need to add any oil or anything on the prosciutto because it's got the fats in there. It's not gonna stick. So a couple minutes on one side, a couple minutes on the other side, and you pull them off and you're done. So now when your shrimp are grilled, you put them on the plate on a skewer, and then we make the sauce on the side. So right now I'm going to saute our sauce. Then I'm going to show you the finished product of the shrimp. So in this dish, it's tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Now we're using just some white onions, quarter cup. A little more, a little less on the onions. You can use shallots, which is even better. So basically anything you want to use on this. Also, once the onions start to cook halfway through, you could add a touch of garlic. I'm not going to add it, that's optional. If you like garlic, you could put garlic in this dish too. Okay, so now we're sauteing our onions, and once the onions are ready, we're going to add a touch of white wine, your Marsala, which I have in a vodka bottle. I use a Florio Sweet Marsala. It's a dry Marsala. Go to the liquor store. They all carry it. It's not expensive. It's excellent. Florio Sweet Marsala. And then we're going to add chicken stock and my veal demi-glaze, which I'm going to show you. And right now we're going to do a little quarter cup of white wine. We're going to do the Marsala. 1 cup of Marsala. We're going to let that cook for a little bit. And then we're going to add our finishing touches. The alcohol burns off. If you have electric or gas at home, it's probably not going to happen. It's just because of the high intense heat that we have here. We're working with 25 to 50,000 BTUs. So now we're going to finish it off. Now we're going to add our finishing touches, which is my homemade chicken stock. We're going to do just 2 ounces. And 2 ounces of my veal stock demi-glaze. It's like a jazzed up turkey gravy. We use it in all our dishes, chicken marsala, chicken franchise, if you watch my other videos. If you don't have that, you can, in this dish, when you're sauteing your onions, you can add a little bit in olive oil, add a little bit of flour with a spoon and mix it in, make a roux, or a little bit of cornstarch to thicken up. So this veal stock demi-glaze is a thickener and also adds flavor, as you've seen in all my other videos. Now we're going to add a little bit of parsley. And just very, very little salt, because my homemade chicken stock has a lot more salt than a collagen or an organic chicken stock that you buy in the grocery store, which is low sodium. And my brown sauce, my veal stock demi-glaze, also has a lot of flavor. As we see right here, overnight we put this big pot. This is my homemade chicken stock, and we're going to let this simmer for about 3 hours, and then we're going to strain it through a cheesecloth. And a lot of my dishes come out really, really good because of the homemade chicken stock. You can use a store-bought, it's good, but if you make your own, if you cook a lot, women that take my classes, Kathy, she cooks a lot. She told me that, I know it's tough to make the chicken stock at home, but she makes big batches and she freezes it. And so in little containers, so that when she needs it and she's making a dish, she takes that out instead of buying the store-bought. So if you cook a lot, make your homemade and freeze it, and you always have it. Or just use a really good quality store-bought one, add a little bit more salt to your dishes. So now what we're doing here is we're letting it saute, we're going to let it reduce. That's why it's called a reduction. It's going to reduce and get thick. And then when it's ready, over here it's going to take about 3 to 5 minutes. At home it's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes at high heat and to thicken up. So I do this all the time, so I know when it's ready, but then I'm going to show you a little spoon trick that I do all the time to show you the thickness. And if I want it thicker, I add a touch more brown sauce to it. Now this sauce is ready. I'm going to pull it off so I can show you slowly. See how nice and thick it got? We're going to take a spoon, and that's how you can tell it's ready. I could tell just by the thickness. And if you walk away and you burn the sauce, you can always come back, and if it gets too thick, you can add chicken stock or brown sauce to it, reconstitute it. So it's not a big deal. So if you're practicing and you reduce it too much, you can always thin it out. And if it's too thin, you can add some more brown sauce or some more flour or whatever. And if you're close to my restaurant, you can come pick up my brown sauce and freeze it in ice cube trays or just in the bowls and use it to make this dish. But if you don't have it, you could still make this dish with flour. It's a simple Marsala wine, white wine, olive oil, and onions. Marsala glaze. So now let's put this on our shrimp that we have grilled. So all we did is we grilled that shrimp, we threw it on a skewer. We just have it sitting on the plate, and now we're just going to top it with our Marsala glaze lightly. And we'll put a little extra for dipping the bread in, which is the best part.